Welcome back to D-Dub, and today on the channel I am bringing you my second part in the series of what I want to see either new or making a return for Animal Crossing on a Nintendo Switch. And with E3 just a couple weeks away, I think it is 100% likely that we are going to be seeing the full unveiling, from a trailer to gameplay footage to treehouse footage and a release date for Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch. So one of the things that I want to see first off is new villager types. And no, I don't mean animals. I mean who can actually be villagers in your village. So you have like Tom Nook. He's a Tanuki, so it would be very cool if him or Timmy and Tommy or just any Tanuki could come and be a villager in your town. And the next thing that I have on my list is updated icons for the carpet and wallpaper, because when there's a whole bunch of different ones just laying, say, on your floor or in your storage or in a dresser or something, it takes quite a bit of time going through all the different icons just trying to see which type is which. So doing that will just save you a bunch of time of going through all the different text menus, and that way you can just see which is which. Which brings up the other thing of that I hope that they just have a better UI and possibly a cancel text button, so that you'll have less time wasted overall going through conversations and text when either trying to do something, or if you accidentally are doing something and you accidentally talk to somebody that you don't want to, or you end up going through a whole nother menu section again. Because if you're talking to the guy from the Happy Home Academy and you didn't mean to, well, by the time you actually go through that conversation all over again, you just want to shoot yourself in the foot. So next I have desert, tropical, forest, and snowy environments. For the mini games, such as like a New Leaf, when you go to the island and you go on the tours, you always show up to the same old sunny, regular town looking forest for whether it's a bug hunt or a fishing hunt, or tour, I guess, as you would call it. What I would like to see is you get off the boat and you're going to do a fishing tour, and you're basically cast into a winter environment with frozen lakes, or into the tropical section with very dense trees for your bug tour. So next on the list is the return of Farley.
Here's you, here's Matt, there's you, there.
Which is from the original GameCube Animal Crossing. And he would be making his return after being gone since the original GameCube iteration of Animal Crossing, where he would be the guy that popped out of the fountain and gave you the golden axe when you had a perfect town. And then next on the list here I have drop multiple items at once. Now, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? But in most of the Animal Crossings after the original, you can't just select multiple items out of your inventory. So go ahead and ask me what selecting multiple items would do. Go ahead, ask me. Ask me! Well, it would allow you to select multiple items at once, at the same time. Instead of dropping or picking up one item at a time, you could go into your pocket and sell, well, you could drop multiple items, much in the way that you sell multiple items. It's pretty nifty and simple. Another one that I hope that they would be bringing back from previous would be the Islander that lives on the island all the time, as well as the island bungalow, where you could basically put stuff in it. It could just be storage, or you could actually arrange it to just be a pretty cool room or a junk pile if you wanted it to. The next one that we haven't seen in a very long time since the GameCube game is the daily glowing spot, where the ground would actually glow, and sometimes it would be a little bit hidden, sometimes it would be kind of hidden behind some trees, and then sometimes it would just be right out in the open. But the point of it would just be to attract your attention to it, and you would usually just dig up money. But maybe in the new game they could put some kind of cool secret, or if there's some kind of new mechanic that they have, maybe there could be a new reason for it, and basically just spicing up something old that they haven't used or brought back and adding something new to it with a new twist could be pretty cool. So we have the reoccurring theme of things that are being brought back from previous Animal Crossing games, and this next one on the list is no different. It existed in the original GameCube version and has not been brought back, and I can't really understand why, because some of these things that they haven't brought back, some of them are actually on my list, but plenty of other ones aren't. There's like at least 30 something different things that was never brought back from the original GameCube game, and some of them are really good ideas and some of them just worked, and I don't see why they got rid of them. So the next one is to ask villagers for jobs at any time. So I guess the reason that they got rid of this was so that you had to do more to actually search out and collect different types of items and different types of furniture and or clothing. Because in the original, you could just go up and ask anybody, hey, do you need a hand? And then they would say, yeah, I need to get this person this item. Can you do it? Here's this item. You would go to the person, you would give it to them, and then they would give you something in return. And I think the only reason that they got rid of it, which is kind of weird because if they had never had it before and then it was like a new mechanic, but it being in the original GameCube, which has the least amount of customizable, furniture and clothes and stuff, it kind of seems weird that although they've grown the repertoire and the giant list of different furniture, clothes, items, accessories, it kind of makes no sense that they and then you will just get something in return, or maybe they can add something new to that mechanic. Once again, we have another thing returning from Animal Crossing on the GameCube, population growing. And that would be to have, like I stated in my other video, which if you haven't checked out, maybe you can go and check that out after this one. I'll leave a card at the end of the video so that you can go check that one out if you haven't. But that is having 15 villagers or more. I guess in this case, hopefully in the new Animal Crossing, we'll be able to have more than 15, but in the first game you could have 15. In Wild World you could only have 8 villagers, and in New Leaf you could have 10. So hopefully you can have in the new game 15 villagers, or maybe even more. I would personally enjoy having 20. That would be pretty cool if you have a village big enough to house 20 villagers, or maybe even more than that. This also applies to the GameCube version that I hope that is in the new game, and that is more tiers or levels to your village going down to the beach, or just going down the land. And by tiers and levels, I mean the amount of ramps. So in New Leaf, you just basically have one piece of land, and then you have the ramps down at the beach, and those go down to the beach. So that's basically 2 tiers, but not really. It's kind of a tier and a third or a quarter. So in the GameCube version, there's actually certain towns where the layout actually has 3 tiers. So you basically walk down 2 different ramps, separating your land by 2 or 3 different actual tiers. And I'm pretty sure that it was the same for Wild World, and it would just be nice to have it returned so that you could have multiple tiers, or maybe you could actually pick the amount of tiers. Maybe you could have even up to 5, so that you basically have your house up at the top and then some of the lesser villagers down in the bottom, and so on and so forth, having different actual tiers to where you could put different public works projects or different things like that, just so that there's a little bit of separation and kind of layout in tiers of what you have and where you have it in your town. I want to return is the treasure hunts, and that was something that was in the original that they have taken out, and it has never made a return since. So just one more thing to add to the list of returning. And the final thing that I hope is just a thing to this new game is multiple towns. So I don't know how they would actually do it. I would hope that you just have different profiles, even on the Nintendo Switch, like having multiple towns just under your profile, so that when you start the game up, you could choose different characters and have multiple towns. Or maybe you could just have multiple towns with the same character as you are going to visit each of those different towns without having to have, a memory card or swapping or having to have it like back in the day with the memory cards where you actually had to have both present at the same time. Maybe one instance, I guess, would be is if you could just have multiple towns, I guess, under different profiles for your different profile selections on your Nintendo Switch. But I guess the most ideal way that I could see it would just being when you go to the startup screen, that you could just select multiple towns and not have to have different cartridges. Like with New Leaf, you can't have multiple towns. You can have different characters in the same town. But if you want to have a new town, or if you mess something up, or if you're brand new to Animal Crossing and you try something out in a town and you waste 10 or so hours just doing different things, trying to figure out stuff before actually figuring out or looking online and seeing that there's a different way of doing it or a different way of having your stuff laid out, and then you think to yourself, oh man, I want to start a new town. But in order to do that, you would have to demolish your whole town, or I guess in the case of like New Leaf, you need to go and get another copy of the game. So hopefully they can just take that and do something with it so that you can have more towns than just the one on the one cartridge. Alright guys, so that is my second list in the things that I would like to see either brand new or returning for Animal Crossing on the Switch. E3 is coming up, and I will be doing a whole bunch of coverage on that. So when we actually get information on this, when this game actually comes out, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for when those videos go live coming up on the road to E3. Make sure to rate this video, hit the thumbs up if you like it. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs up anyway. And this has been D-Dub. I will see you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.